Welcome to the Real P&L Trading Show, where every week I share my real accounts, each tied to a specific trading system, so you can see exactly how each system and each strategy performs in real time. I also share my safe wheel strategy for free. You guys let me know in the comments that my tech is working okay. You can see me, you can hear me. I would appreciate that very much. Also, be sure to post any questions you might have earlier rather than later. We are on a slight delay, so I wanted to get access to any questions that you guys might have before I end the broadcast. All right, so let's get started with the earnings edge. You can see this is my earnings edge account here, and you can see all of the trades that I've made in 2025. You can see my P&L year to date here. It states 19,570. When I go into Schwab and I look at the equity curve, it's a little bit lower than that, so the calculations are a little bit different, but that's fine. It's somewhere between 18,500 and 19,500, depending on what platform you're looking at, but that's okay here. So you can see that I've started with $6,000 and I'm up to 24,471. So let me bring the spreadsheet over here. Simon says all good. Thanks, Kevin and Peter. How you doing? Good. Thanks for letting me know that everything's working okay. All right, so we're talking about the earnings edge account, and got thrown off there. Let's see, 24,471. What happened with the earnings edge last week? 24,471. You can see it's higher than last week, 24,471. So last week I traded IBM and got out in one day with a $1,260 profit. So far I've got 20 wins, 2 losses. This is in 2025 with a 3.0 system. 20 wins, 2 losses, over a 90% win rate. Average win 1,065, average loss $874. You can see how the earnings edge did over the years. 2022 up 63%, market was down 20. 2023 was up 17%, the market was up 24%. In 2024 it was down 36%, the earnings edge, and the S&P was up 23%. At that time, that's when I decided I got to look deeper into this because there might be a better way to do it. And Avery actually came up with the idea, this little tweak, and I said, yeah, test it, let's see what it looks like. And man, this thing has been doing really well in 2025. You can see that I'm up 304%, and the market, what is SPY trading? 662.35. The market's up 13%. So the earnings edge in 2025 up 304%, and the S&P is up 13%. Obviously, vastly outperforming. Obviously, there's going to be more risk with the earnings edge versus the S&P 500, but even on a risk-adjusted basis, no matter what that is, it's still outperforming nicely. Okay, so that's the earnings edge. And if you're interested in the earnings edge, there should be a link in the description there. Let's talk about the PL5 Pro. This is where this is my larger account, where I have most of my liquid net worth invested in. And this is one of the accounts here, the one that I share, my public account. I think it's this one here. Yeah, 428,650 is the net lick. 428,650. You can see it's down a little bit. 428,650. There was quite a move on last Friday. The market was down about 3%. The VIX spiked. I don't know what it was, around 16 up to around 22. It just spiked up pretty good. Typically, when you're selling premium, when the VIX spikes, your positions that you're holding don't do as well, and you might have a temporary drawdown. Just depends on what your system is. So you can see here with the PL5 Pro, I started on July 19, 2024. And in the last half of 2024, it did about 16%. The market was up 6.65. Now in 2025, not doing as well, minus 8.5%. The market's up 13.13, obviously underperforming the market. And you can see here Overall, up 6.13%. The market's up 20.65 since I started implementing this PL5 Pro and sharing it live. So on a risk-adjusted basis, though, you can pretty much double that because the drawdowns are about half of what the S&P is. So about 12.25, and the market's up 20.6. Still underperforming even on a risk-adjusted basis with the PL5 Pro, but um, I have the majority of my liquid net worth into this system, so obviously I have confidence that it's going to outperform. Otherwise, I just buy the S&P, right? All right, let's talk about the PL5. Just the PL5. This one's specifically tied to the market, so it's on a risk-adjusted basis. It's got approximately the same drawdowns, maybe a little bit more, just barely a little bit more. So you can see what the PL5 is doing. This is with my smaller $30,000 account that I started, and I'm trading it in Interactive Brokers. And I can't show you the whole account because it'll show my account number. Here is the net lick. You can see it's 34,421. Goes down just a little bit, but not too bad considering I had a 3% down move. Now, with this, I started on July 16th, 2024, around the same time as the PL5 Pro, a few days earlier. And in 2024, it did 10.2%. The market was up 3.94. And in 2025, this is up 4.1%. The market's up 13. And total, this is up 14.7, and the market's up 17.5. Underperforming there by about 2.5% or so. Not bad. And again, I do expect this to outperform the S&P. That's why I have my money in it. Okay, so that is the PL5. And now we're talking about the safe wheel, right? What happened with the safe wheel? Let's take a look at that account. You'll see the net lick of my accounts. And that would be this account here. Yeah, oops, no, not that account. That was my Earnings Edge account. And this account here, 5782. 5782 is the net lick. So it's actually up 5782, and with the market down 3%, this thing's went up over the last day or so. And you can see here with the safe wheel, this is a great way to learn, especially if you want to learn how to trade options. This is I would say the best way to learn, because the wheel is a very good way to learn how to trade, but it's got a lot of risk. So if you want to trade something where you learn and you don't have a lot of risk, then the safe wheel, that's for you. Also, I do have the safe wheel available free for a limited time. Hit the link in the description. You can get access to it. It has everything, the flow chart, the whole complete masterclass for free right now. Hit that link in the description. You can get access to that. Let's see. So in 2022, the safe wheel did 21%. The market was down around 20. 2023 it did 5.3. The market was up 24. And then 2024, it was down 14%, which is its largest drawdown. And the market was up 23. So far in 2025, up 5.5%. The market up 13.13. Overall, the safe wheel's up 15.6, and the market's up about 40% since the beginning of 2022. On a risk-adjusted basis, because the drawdowns are about half of the S&P, you can see that it's up about 31.28 versus 39.45. So underperforming there by a little bit on a risk-adjusted basis. And again, the most important thing about this is that it's a great way to learn how to trade options. And I would highly recommend that. If you don't know much about options, or you want to learn the wheel strategy, or you want to learn how to hedge, this is a great way to learn. Because when you sell premium, or when I sell premium, I want to be hedged. I don't want to get blown out by a crash. And so this is a great tool to help you learn how to do that. Okay, that was, see here. Also, later on today, I'm going to be trading all three of my accounts here, which is the Earnings Edge, the PL5 Pro, and the PL5. I'm going to trade them all live in front of you. That's called Live Trading with Carl and Avery. That's coming up today around 8:30. So in about an hour. And there's a link in the description. if you want to see me trade these particular accounts live. That's called live trading with Carl and Avery. And that's available. All right, so let's see what's going on with. Oh, and now I've got to actually trade the safe wheel account. So let's make sure I'm in the right account, which I am. And what do I have here? So I have my puts, I have my hedges, and I have my long shares here. So I have 3 questions with this put hedge here to make sure that it's the proper hedge. Number 1, do I own 200 shares? Because if I do, I want to see if it's paid off, and the answer is no. Number 2, is it under 100 days? Because it'll depreciate too fast. Well, it's 130 days until it expires. So the answer is no. And the other is the actual put close enough within 70% of the actual price? I don't know. Let's see who it is. So let's see, it's $28 strike divided by 36.97. It's 75%, so that's good. So it's this put hedge is nice. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's where it's supposed to be. Then I have my long call. I had to go out to the $50 call to buy that at $5 or $6. Maybe we're coming into earnings here with, yeah, you can see all these little things here. So we're probably coming to earnings. So there's probably going to be a lot of premium available. One thing I need to do here is look at what am I going to do next with the wheel. Let's talk about the wheel. I own 100 shares, which means I do want to sell a covered call, but I do not want to sell it below the strike price of 36 because that's my basis. That's what I got in at. So if I can sell it in any 36 or higher and get at least 37 cents for it, then I'll do that. Let's see what I can get. I'm going to sell a covered call against my shares. So make sure I'm trading Intel. I'm going to do it in the nearest expiration. And where can I get at least 37 cents? Right here at the 39.50, I can get 37 cents. I'd like to go one back to the 39. So I'm going to sell the 39 and hope that I get it signed, right? Because I got in at 36. And if I sell at 39, that's a $300 profit. And plus I'm going to collect another 50 bucks or so as I go. So I'm going to sell this covered call right here. I can maybe get, well, it looks like they moved the price to 50. Okay, so I'm going to sell the $39 call. It's going to expire at the end of the week. And maybe I'll get called away. And that was filled at 51 cents. So I collected another $51 selling a covered call against the 100 shares that I own. And we'll see how that turns out. I'll know next week. I don't really pay much attention to this. I just come in on Fridays, buy the long call, and then just look at it on Monday. So I only really look at this account twice a week. Not a lot of, that's the way I like to trade, with not a lot of, I don't like to pay a lot of attention. And I like things black and white with black and white rules. In fact, like I said, you can get those black and white rules if you hit the link in the description. You can get the safe wheel for free right now. All right, let's see what's going on with any comments. Good morning, Kevin from Florida. Simon says he can hear me with his little car there. Kevin says I can see and hear you. Thank you, I appreciate that. Peter says good afternoon from Hasselt, Belgium. Good afternoon. Good morning from here in California. Some guy says good day. It looks like he's in England. Some guy says the PL5 Pro, 2.5 months in this year left. Will it recoup given the loss was in the first quarter of this year? That's the question of the day. We're going to find out. I think it has a really good chance to, but only time's going to tell. Only time will tell. Some guy, when did you get assigned Intel at 36? I had a 36 short put as well, but was not assigned. Well, on Friday, let's see, at the end of the day, I got assigned. So by the end of the day, uh, yeah, I don't know. I got assigned on. I got the. It happened on Friday, but interesting how it doesn't show that it's down below 36. So, well, that was a pretty interesting assignment. I'm not sure how it happened. Sometimes people want to take your stock. Maybe they took it early, and yeah, it's interesting. I'm surprised that I got assigned then if the price never actually fell below 36, but that's what happened. Got assigned. Interesting. Yeah, and you can see the trade price right there. That's pretty cool. That I got assigned, and I really didn't see the price drop below 36 on the chart. Okay, awesome. So let's see if there's any other questions or comments before I kind of start to wind down the broadcast. And some guy says, so that's a rare event, right? Yeah, that is pretty rare. Somebody decided that they wanted the shares, so they were willing to, uh, I guess, pay more for or to put those shares to me. Maybe they thought that it was going to go much, much lower, and that didn't happen. Yeah. Yeah. Price didn't go below 36. Yes. Yet you got assigned. Yeah. Somebody really wanted to put those shares to me. Maybe they thought that it was going to open up on Monday morning at $30 or something. Who knows? I mean, that's what it looked like on Friday. At the end of the day, it looked like, man, there's no help in sight. It was just things were going to fall and crash and everything. But then we wake up this morning and we're up 1%, and everything's kind of settled back. And that's the way it is. Let's see the VIX. VIX is was up around 22. Now it's around 20. Still elevated, right? A little bit compared to where we've been. The volatility. But yeah. And John Doe says fear price would fall more or an after hours event. Maybe it was after hours, maybe because I think they let the shares go for another 15 minutes or so to let the assignments happen, and maybe after hours it was below the 36 mark. That could be totally possible. Okay, I'm going to wrap things up here. Good session. Now, one thing I always like to say in parting: if the P&L is not real, what else are they trying to conceal? I'll see you guys next week. I appreciate you guys.